Hearing no objection, it is so decided.
And so COP28 came to a dramatic close. The oil executive who guided these talks helped pull out a climate deal after nearly losing it.
Make no mistake, historic package to accelerate climate action. It is the UAE consensus.
At dawn, the final day with COP into overtime.
One cappuccino.
Some caffeinated energy just in time for a new draft of the agreement, including the most contentious issue, fossil fuels. The global stocktake, the agreement, calls on governments to transition away from fossil fuels, accelerating action in this critical decade.
It's a pretty extraordinary turn of events for this process, where we've spent the last 30 years talking about climate change and talking about emissions, but never talking about the cause of those emissions, fossil fuels.
Saudi Arabia and others had been blocking the targeting of fossil fuels.
Will you be asking for changes, sir?
But after all-night negotiations, they did not formally object.
I think there were times in the last 48 hours where some of us thought this could fail.
CCS is a lie.
The pressure for a phase out or phase down with protests till the final hours fell short. Those words read lines for several oil-producing countries. The agreement is non-binding, and critics pointed to loopholes which could benefit oil and gas expansion.
It doesn't say that we need to end the expansion of fossil fuel production, which we do, actually.
And in a consensus vote, there were still objections from the small island states.
Course correction that is needed has not been secured.
That drew a standing ovation and comfort for another delegate who was overcome with the moment.
It's not the transformational leap that we all need. Thank you so much.
But there were clear directions to triple renewable energy such as solar by 2030. A loss and damage fund with millions of dollars pledged. An early win for Al Jaber's team, who formally wrapped up the conference with a golden gavel. Dubai's COP made progress, but it's incremental. The UAE, which hosted the largest climate conference ever, will consider this a success. But scientists warn that the world is already far off its targets set back in Paris 8 years ago and needs to transition faster. Susan Ormiston, CBC News, Dubai.